This week, parasha is called Parasha Korah. So, and as we start. In the book of Numbers, we often learn all about the enigmatic, hard to understand generation known as the generation of the desert. That is that in the book of Numbers, it's often very hard to be able to comprehend this generation, the generation that we call the generation of the desert. This generation is also known as the generation of knowledge. They are the ones who witnessed the miracle of the Almighty. And they experienced the exodus from Egypt. The splitting of the sea. And they stood before God on Mount Sinai. And they witnessed the absolute oneness of God. They had the voice from heaven and they received the Torah. They witnessed fire descend from heaven. The resting of the Shekinah upon the altar. The resting of the glory of God upon the altar. Upon the altar, They ate manna, the spiritual food. They drank water from Miriam's well. They were surrendered by the cloud by day and fire by night. They live an exalted and sublime life of an incomprehensive closeness to the Almighty. These generations are a kind of a special kinds of generations. The special connection that they have between this generation and God is so immense that we can't even comprehend with our mind. This connection was made possible because of the special love of God that God has towards the people and towards the promise of God by the forefathers. Why? Because of the special closeness of them, of the promise of God for the forefathers, to bring them to the land of Israel. God gave them the Torah and didn't leave it in the heaven with the angels. Because the Torah was designed to help man to reach his maximum potential. And because they were human beings, they were also flawed. There's also flawed within them. Last week, as we learned in Parashat Shelach, they reached that point as it were Hashem breaking point. The point of them complaining and complaining and complaining and complaining. So it was like, enough, and enough is enough. These people tested God 10 times. They provoke him several times. And every time, God always forgive them. And this week, the parasha Korah is another top level of insecurity that these people, they brought again before God. I mean, that happens again before God. This relates another trouble that has been brewing from beneath since last week. We can see from this parasha that I can say that wickedness starts from within. The jealousy starts from within. Many people think that, you know what, oh, I have this enemy, I have that enemy, but the most dangerous enemy is the enemy that is within. We can see the attitude of Korah toward Moshe and Aaron. That he feels that he's been cheated of his birthright. But forgetting that every appointment that was made by the mouth of the Almighty, blessed be His name. This trouble starts as an outright rebellion towards the government of the children of Israel in the desert. Korah was trying to institute a total outlaw rebellion towards the directive of Moshe. A total outright rebellion towards the directive of Moshe. Korah was not going to bow down. He thought because he's rich, so I can do all things. I have wealth, I need power. Since I can use my money to do all things, so I mean, the only thing that remains for me is a priesthood. Actually, Midrashim said that Korah was not an ordinary man. Korah was one of the Levites that actually take hold of Aaron, that carried Aaron. Korah was a special person, and Korah was very spiritual. In the Midrashim, it was stated that Korah actually has a dream or a vision that his grandchildren will be the Kohen Gadol. So in his mind, why should my grandchildren be a Kohen Gadol while me myself can be a Kohen Gadol? Please don't forget that it's a Midrashim. But in the Midrashim, there's always an element of truth. That was why the reason why this man rebelled against God, because he couldn't wait for his own time. And you can see that actually, who from the descendant of Korah become a Kohen Gadol. Samuel was a descendant of Korah. And our parasha said that actually Korah actually saw this, that Samuel is going to become a Kohen Gadol. And he couldn't wait for Samuel to become a Kohen Gadol, but he wants to become a Kohen Gadol by himself. But that is not your calling. Your calling is a different calling. God has called you to carry the Aaron. And God has called Aaron to be the Kohen Gadol. Bringing it down to this planet. I mean, bringing the message down to a layman understanding. Each and every one of us has an individual calling from God. We have some people that they look at other people's cake that is so big. Why should my cake be small? Oh, God is doing injustice here. God gives this guy a big cake and is giving me a small tiny cake. That is not right. So are you telling me that you know more than God now? God knows that the stomach of that man can contain that big cake. And God knows that your stomach can only contain the small cake. That's why He gave you the small one. We always look at other people's things, not looking on what God has given us for us to control. Korah was like an Hollywood guy. He's an actor. He wants all the fame, all the glory unto himself. He doesn't mind the people. To him, in his mind, it's not the people. He doesn't care about them. His mind is about business. What can I make out of this Kohen Gadol? What can I enrich myself with? That's what is in his mind. But God has chosen Aaron to be the Kohen Gadol. And he thinks that is injustice. Oh, Moshe, you make yourself the king now. You make your brother the Kohen Gadol. And you make my cousin the chief priest, the prince of Levi. That prince of Levi belongs to me. Because my father was born before his father. But that is not how God told Moshe to do it. God told Moshe that this person shall hold this position, this position, this position, this position. It is not by human selection, but God selection. So you now, because you think that you have wealth and you have power, you can buy your way out. That won't work with God. Because we need to understand that God is a God of orderliness. God does not like or He hates disorderliness. So we have to Him, it is very impressive that we live our life in the order that He has given it. Korah would not wait for his own time. Korah was eyeing another person's position, not his own. Was looking for another person's position, not his own. What are you looking at? Are you eyeing other person's positions, or you have to be busy with what God has placed, where God has placed you in? In our life today, it is very comprehensive that we should concentrate on where God has called on him to do. Everybody has a special place in the presence of God. As Shaul said, we have one body. But this body has different parts. And this different part act as one to make the whole body function. If the eye said, I want to be hand, because the hand takes the food, it doesn't make sense. Or the eye, or the entire body said, I want to be eyes, because the eye sees everything. Or say, oh, you know what? The leg said, no, I want to be hand. And the hand said, no, I want to be mouth, because the food goes through the mouth. That will be a completely, chaos. But God has put every part to have its own particular function. God that said Aaron should be the Kohen Gadol has a reason. And God that has divided every role in the Ohem for each tribe of the Levite has a reason in the temple. The people to bring it down, the people to tie, the people to carry the iron, want to take all the clothing and so on and so forth. Everyone has his own role to play. And if we all do this role harmoniously, everything will perform perfectly well. Exactly, that is what God wants for each and every one of us. Korah has his own reason why he wants to rebel. In his mind, he's a businessman type of a mind. And we have to understand that God is not a businessman. He's not there to do business. He's the creator. He's God himself. And all has to bow to his will. Not we trying to bend God to our will. Korah wants to buy God and bend God's will to his own will. The divine system is a system of justice. And God has brought up his own justice. That this person should hold this position, this person should hold that position. Going back to the story that we just read now, we saw that Korah actually deceived 250 men, and the Torah said that these men were not just ordinary men, these men were men of renown. How come the Korah could achieve this type of great success? We need to remember that most of the men that he deceived were from the tribe of Reuben. According to the Midrashim again, it says that actually Korah went and told them poison their mind against the authority of Moshe. Korah went and poisoned their mind. You see, Reuben was the firstborn. He said, oh, you see, Moshe has sidelined you guys and he has made himself, as the king and make his own brother, and this is this is nepotism. This is not right. So they were poisoned in their mind. What is nepotism? Nepotism, yes. Nepotism is when a particular group of people, or they call it actually very close family, control everything. For example, we have Trudeau as the Prime Minister, right? He takes his wife as the Deputy Prime Minister. He takes his brother, the Premier of Quebec. He takes his second brother, the Premier of Ontario. He takes another of his sister, the Premier of Vancouver. He shares all the whole top position among all his own family alone. Let's look at this, what actually is happening here, okay? Yes, actually, if we look at it with our human eyes, it seems so. I'm sorry, but actually it is not so again, because it is God appointed. From the beginning, if we remember from the burning bush, God told Moshe, you shall go and speak to Pharaoh, this. Moshe said, I don't want to go. It is not my duty. I can't even speak. I'm a stammerer. How can I do that? And God told him, your brother, you shall take your brother along with you and he will speak. So we can see that it is elected or chosen by God, not by man. In the Haftarah that we just read, Samuel was a descendant of Korah. But the Torah said that all Korah children and all his all everything that belonged to him perished with him. Was there any conflict there? Because if everything perished with him, how come Samuel is a descendant of Korah? It was said that some of his wives actually repented. They didn't follow him to rebel against God. And we have to give credit to our women perfectly well. Because in the parashat Shlach last week, it was said that all men from 20 years upward will not step their feet into the promised land. But it was never said about the women. Because the women never rebelled against God. The women did not follow their men to do what the men did. The women were close to the Almighty. It is the men that rebel against him. It is the men that think they were smart, that we need do what? We need to elect a prince or a king over us to bring us back to Egypt. Because we remember now that the land of Egypt is the land that flowed with milk and honey. This is the land that you have been a slave and you cried to God that God should bring you out. And now you say that you want to go back there. Many human beings always act like a dog. We always like to go back to our vomit. Why do you want to go back to your vomit? When the Almighty has delivered you. When the Almighty has saved you and bring you out from among them. Yes, it is very interesting because sin is very attractive. Sin is very attractive. Or it gives you all kinds of color. It dances before you. It gives you the mentality that you can, let me just think and think and think again. It tells you, you can, ransom your mind. You can it can give you the best possible reason why you should sin. I mean, your mind. But the only one that's brought you out from among them. Why must we go back to our vomit? But we can see that human nature is like that. So Korah rebelled against Moshe and Aaron. And he faced the consequence. The justice of God is tough. But Korah brought that justice upon himself. Most of us always say that this happened, but we've forgotten what we did yesterday and day before yesterday and day before yesterday. Anything that happens to us, we cause it by ourselves. With our wanton eyes, with our lashon hara, with our unbelief, with our doubt. Why must we doubt the Almighty? When we saw His miracle with our two eyes, when He divided the Red Sea before us, you don't need a scientist to tell you that. Everything is done before your eyes. But still, yes, we complain and complain and complain and complain and complain. God, this is not enough. God, that is not enough. God, this is not enough. God, you don't take care of me enough. I need this, I need this, I need that. But God knows what you can take. And has given you what you can take. Stop looking at your brother's cake. Stop looking at the cake of your sisters. Your cake is the most important. That is what God has given you. And He knows that that is what is enough for you as a person. And the conclusion, the earth represents stability. The earth, yeah. Stability that a person can count on. Like the expression, rock solid, like the expression of rock solid. Or you are on a solid ground. Creation is clear and firm. Established beyond any doubt. The earth under our feet about which there is no doubt. The earth under our feet, about which there is no doubt. But at the twilight, the elusive time, the twilight, you know, the twilight is early in the morning when the sun, when the morning was just about to come. The twilight is an elusive time. So the phrase that is the time of temptation. Just a minute, okay. The phenomenon of the mouth, the phenomenon of the mouth of the earth, when the Torah said, and the earth opened his mouth and swallowed them up. Was introduced even in the most solid and soft and stable of things. That was in the most solid time when the people were enjoying, when the people think everything was okay. That was when temptation crept in. Korah mixed up everything by doubting Moshe and God. Thinking that he is on the solid ground. Thinking that he is on his right time. Thinking that Moshe has done him wrong by not making him the prince of Levi. He could be able to rationalize in his mind that actually this belongs to me, but this man is robbing me of my position. And that is how sin always look. It gives you to rationalize. It gives you all kinds of reason to say that is to justify your action. But you are not looking at the point or the position of God Almighty. If you look from the point of God, you see that you are wrong. If you look at from the perspective of the Almighty, you will see that you have been selfish, trying to grab what it is not yours. Most of our Midrashim says that after the death of the 250 men, the people were so mad against Moshe and Aaron. Because they said that Moshe knows that God is going to kill them all. So why did he allow them to go and make a sacrifice? Because according to the instruction, it is only the Kohen Gadol that has the right to make a burnt offering. And these men were not Kohen Gadol. They were priests, but not from the. Most of them are not from the tribe of Levi. And not even all the tribe of Levi can make a sacrifice before God. We can see what happened to these two sons of Aaron when they tried to make a sacrifice before God. And they were consumed by fire. Exactly the same thing happens to these men. They were all consumed and burned. So we should be very careful towards our greed. What do we really want? Don't get me wrong, sometimes greed is good. Because we have, in our understanding, we have what is called positive greed and negative greed. If you covet what is good, to elevate the work of God, to elevate the assembly, that is good. But if you covet what is called negative one, to covet just to consume for your own body alone, to show off, just like the Hollywood guys, they show off on TVs, martial men. That is what God is talking about. That is negative. And that is exactly what Korah was about to do. And they appointed him king to return them back into Egypt. And that is unacceptable before God. For God told them that this way is one way. It's not two ways. You leave, you cannot go back. When God delivers you, you'll be free. You're free. Why do you want to go back to bondage? Parashat Korah. Is most of us like Korah? Do we mind other people's business instead of minding our own business? Do you speak evil of your brothers or do you speak evil of your sisters? Do you jealous your brother or do you jealous your sister? I mean, negative jealousy, You wish them evil for the blessing that God has blessed them with. The Holy One is saying you have to desist from that. You have to leave it. You have to stop that. You have to mind your own business. You have to mind your own cake that God has given you. When you need more, God will add more. You just have to come and ask Him, God, I need more to my cake, and He's going to add it. You don't have to jealous your brother or your sister for the good thing that they have. Rather, if you want to jealous, you should jealous them for good. You ask God to bless them more. You ask God to increase them more. With all your heart, With all your soul, Not just by mouth. You really wish them good in your heart. And the good that you wish them will return back unto you. That is the trick. It's not hard. You don't have to jealous your brother or your sisters. For evil is within. It is those that know you that can destroy you. No enemy outside that can destroy you because he doesn't know anything about you. Why do you think that the secret service, they tell you, go study that person? Most of these things is from the Torah. But they need to understand who you are. They need to know what you eat, what you drink, where you go, what time you leave the house, what time you come back. They study everything about you that you can't even imagine. Then, if they want to deal with you, they will easily deal with you because they know everything about you. But a person or a man that knows nothing about you, they cannot do anything against you because he knows nothing about you. That is what God is saying. So you have to wish your brother and your sister well. We need to wish ourselves well. By so doing, God is going to be increasing each and every one of us more and more. Parasha Korah. Korah was a wise man. He was a smart man. Will you take yourself as Korah too? Were you as smart as Korah? But your smartness, is it negative or positive? Do not face the consequence of Korah. Do that is positive, and you will see the result. And the result will be blessing. Because you love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind. And with all your might. So God actually is wishing you to come unto Him. God is asking you to free yourself. Do not imagine or try to rationalize like Korah. Do not allow sin to give you all kinds of its different color to entice you to do evil. We've been called to total freedom. And this total freedom is only in Adonai Sivaot. To truly give Him ourselves. To give Him ourselves. In total worship and praise. Parasha Korah. Shabbat Shalom.